I thought that I'd talk a little bit about one view that arose from meditation that many people now follow. It's a multi-thousand-year spiritual tradition, which I cannot, and it just can't be, reduced to a brief description, and certainly not in 5 minutes. So nevertheless, I thought that I'd try to share with you a characterization attributed to someone variously identified as Gautama, Siddhartha, Shakyamuni, and or Buddha, who may have lived sometime around the 5th century BCE, that's before the Common Era for us non-Christians, and his subsequent followers in pursuit of, you use fourth principle, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and the 7th, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. And in brief, the view is nothing is as it seems. Things seem concrete. They seem static. Here, this podium, there it is. And they seem significant. And we seem concrete. We seem static. This is me. I'm me. And we think we're significant. None of that is the case in this view. Said another way, everything is changing. Everything is changing in response to causes and conditions. And we can't depend on our senses. They're so limited. If we think about all the stuff that physics has, and chemistry and so forth have discovered about the universe in terms of energy, particles, distances far beyond our comprehension. What do I see? I'm in a room here and there's a bunch of people and I'm standing here and so forth, and I'm feeling a pressure on my feet and it's just slightly chilly and so forth and so on. That's a pretty small view. So in addition to being limited, our at least my senses are unreliable. I'll be driving on the road and I'll say, oh, look at that guy way up there standing by the side of the road. And when I get there, it's a mailbox. And this happens to me as my eyes and brain deteriorate. It happens more and more often. Okay, so we also attach significance to things. I mean, this is my iPad Pro right here, and it means I'm a technophile and so forth and so on. But that meaning is not in this thing. That meaning is in this thing. So nothing is as it seems. And our problem is we want everything to be satisfactory, permanent, and connected to us. But it's often unsatisfactory, impermanent. It changes in dependence on causes and conditions. Everything is connected to something else that is affecting it, and we don't even know what all those things are. So, given what we know of ourselves, will we ever know it all? No, we won't. And so we have to accept that things are impermanent, things are not imbued with any of the characteristics that we put on them. They're what they are. And in some sense, we can't ever even know what that is. And given all of that, we can't predict the outcomes of anything that is happening. It's so complex. It is so complex. I look at this and I say, hey, this is made of wood. Well, actually, wood is made of cells, which are made of chemicals, which are made of atoms, which are made of molecules, which are made of atoms, which are made of particles, some of which are even made of subparticles. So there's no way I can comprehend all of that. Just for fun, here is a bit of a passage from James Joyce's novel Ulysses. Bloom, one of the main characters, has just taken a kettle from the stove and filled it with water from the sink. Joyce writes, "What in water did Bloom, water lover, drawer of water, water carrier, returning to the range, that is the stove, admire? Its universality, its democratic equality and constancy to its nature in seeking its own level, its vastness in the ocean of Mercator's projection, its unplumbed profundity in the sunned trench of the Pacific, exceeding 8,000 fathoms, the restlessness of its waves and surface particles, visiting in turn all parts of its seaboard, the independence of its units, the variability of states of sea, its hydrostatic quiescence and calm, its hydrokinetic turgidity in neap and spring tides, its subsidence after devastation, its sterility in the circumpolar ice caps, Arctic and Antarctic, its climatic and commercial significance, its preponderance of 3-1 over the dry land of the globe, its indisputable hegemony extending in square leagues over all the region below the sub-equatorial Tropic of Capricorn." This is half a page from a sometimes erudite, sometimes esoteric, often hilarious list of properties of water that goes on for 2.5 pages, ending with its ubiquity as constituting 90% of the human body, the noxiousness of its effluvia and lacustrine marshes, pestilential fens, faded flower water, stagnant pools in the waning mood. It's a list of water's properties, but it's not water. Even such a seemingly simple substance can't be captured with any finite list of concepts derived from sense impressions and the thoughts arising from them. So much for understanding the universe, or ourselves.